PR agency employee says Baldur's Gate 3 is setting unrealistic expectations and claims they had insane funding. Larian Dev answers with, what funding? Who is this guy? What is this? Please, please, please put some thought into it before you complain. This is what AAA should be moving forward. 6 years and 400 plus people with insane funding due to the IP have given Baldur's Gate 3 a big boost. It's truly unrealistic to expect this on a daily basis. That's fine. No, the thing is, like, all right, people, all right, let's say you're right. People are unrealistic to expect this on a daily basis. Well, I think also it might be unrealistic to expect people to buy a game for $70 on a regular basis, right? I mean, shit, this goes both ways. Because if one person's giving you out, let's say, you know, you're selling hot dogs, and there's one place that sells 10 hot dogs for $1, and there's another place that sells, you know, one hot dog for $10, where are you going to go? You're going to go and get 10 hot dogs, assuming they're the same fucking hot dogs. This is just fucking insane, honestly. Like, I can't believe there are so many of these people that say stupid shit like this. Like, number one, people that, like, PR, get the fuck out of here. These people, like, I feel like a lot of the PR agencies that these companies hire have no idea what they're doing. Because if they did, these companies wouldn't be writing these, like, these apologies on Twitter and shit that everybody fucking memes on. So, like, how do these PR agencies even exist? Like, how do you fuck up every single time, and then somehow you still have a career and like an economy for this? It's crazy. And then one of the guys says, "What funding?" Well, here's the thing: is that lazy developers see what a passionate developer can do, and they now fear them because the world is seeing how lazy and money-grabbing devs are. Well, I think you're right, and this is the thing: is that game developers and AAA developers especially have enjoyed many years of being able to pump out shit and have it defended by shit eaters. And whenever a game comes out that isn't shit and people try that and they're like, wow, this is so good, I wish more games were like this, same like Elden Ring, right? Or like Tears of the Kingdom got criticism, Final Fantasy 16 got criticism, you know, Baldur's Gate now 3 is getting criticism. The reason why is that, you know, there are people that, because it's easy to make shit, and shit eaters are easy to please. So whenever you have somebody that ups the ante and they make it to where being a shit eater isn't a necessity whenever you play video games anymore, well then now, you know, these people are fucking with the economy. And also, like, keep in mind, 6 years and 400 plus people, that's as big as Diablo 3 or Diablo 4. Actually, Diablo 4 was 7 years. So what's the excuse for that? Because it's undeniable that Baldur's Gate 3, like, Baldur's Gate 3 has more content inside of it with just cutscenes than Diablo 4 has altogether. So clearly, the amount of time and money invested into this is not the only factor. It's the people that make the game, and it's if they know what's going on or not. Diablo 4 was 9,000 collective employees. Yeah, well, big mistake. This week, if talking shit about devs and how bad their games are for a year, now they talk shit about our good games. Yeah, now we're getting it back. That's what AAA is for. Yeah, AAA is for making those really big games. So, like, I don't know. We talked about this a lot. I'll read a few more of these and just go from there. Lazy developers, not just passionate. They're backed up by their management to deliver the product they want to deliver. Needs passion and thought to convince management to let you do your thing. Passion and knowledge of what you're doing. I don't really care about, like, people that are passionate or not. Like, I've said this before, is that I think that it is actually, and I know that, like, I get some pushback for this because, like, everybody likes to blame executives. Because executives don't really, it's an easy scapegoat. But I actually think it's the individual designers and developers that are incompetent. I do. I think that they individually are incompetent. They lack creativity. They lack the skill to create a game that is compelling and interesting, and they should have never been game developers. That's it. Was this because of Uber Lilith? No. I mean, like, didn't Diablo today, they posted a video of the developers a developer that's like spamming normal mode attacks inside of a world tier 1 dungeon at level 50 and dying. I mean, yeah, we'll probably talk about that in a bit. Like, we'll get to it. But, like, that's the world that we're in. So, like, that didn't, like, they're like, Bobby's not making them press those buttons. Bobby's not making them, you know, not avoid CC. Bobby's not in there pulling the strings there. They're doing that themselves. Larian made a game that they themselves want to play and it shows. Yeah, it does. Executive timeframes do put strain on the creation process, but as someone who's worked in the MMO industry for years, I can say crunch time before release was because people fucked off for 80% of the project timeframe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, what the fuck, like, I have no idea what happens with, like, each individual game, but I actually think that a lot of these people just have no idea what they're doing. And there's not some, you know, executive that's at fault. It's just the individual person being an incompetent employee and not knowing what they're doing. Do you think that the game is the first AAA or quadruple A? No, I don't think so. Remnant Devs made a game they wanted to play too. Yeah. Like, I think that, you know, if I make a list, right, of, like, games that, like, recent gold standard games. Elden Ring. Obviously, Baldur's Gate 3. I would say probably Minecraft. Yeah. Valheim, yeah. And this is in, like, the last 5 years, let's say. So yeah. Sekiro, I mean, sure. See if I make any more of these. Valorants, yeah. Fuck, I'm trying to think if there's any more. Yeah, Path of Exile. God of War. Hades. Like, each of these games, like, I'm sure there's probably a handful of other ones that I'm not, like Hollow Knight. Like, for example, I haven't really played God of War. I've seen things about it, but I can appreciate what it is. All of these other games I have played. And, like, so I might be missing a few of them. Like, people were saying Divinity Original Sin, Red Dead Redemption 2, Pikmin 4. Like, I haven't played these, so, like, I don't really know very well. But I at least played some of the old God of War games. So, like, each of these games are what I consider gold standard games. These are games that you can compare other games to as how close to those other games are they, and that determines how good they are. And the truth is, a lot of these big studios, I don't think that really, like, how many big studios really, I mean, like, I guess you could say From Software is kind of a big studio, right? But they're not big on the same level as, like, Riot or Ubisoft or Blizzard is. But they're big. Nintendo's big. Square Enix is big. I would say Riot is huge. You know, the people that make God of War are pretty big. So, yeah. Bandai is big? Yeah, but Bandai's the publisher, not the developer, right? Bandai Namco published Elden Ring. They didn't develop it. Yeah, full complete games. Yeah, fucking no Rockstar games then? Well, I mean, they haven't... I don't know whenever Red Dead Redemption came out. Like, anyway, all I'm really trying to say is that, like, a lot of the games that... Like, we have a lot of very good games that have come out. And I think it's really not a surprise that so many of these good games come out of mid to small-sized studios. I think that's probably what's going to happen more. Is that you will have, like, AAA home runs every once in a while, but I don't think they're going to be, like, super popular. Well, now Minecraft is 13-year-old... No, Minecraft is, like, probably the most popular out of all these games, maybe besides Fortnite. I think it's more popular than Fortnite. Like, Minecraft is an incredible, amazing, gold standard game, and people will be playing Minecraft in 20 years. Like, that's just the truth. It's an incredible game. Like, I'm not personally a fan of it. Right? Like, I'm not a huge fan of Minecraft, but I can recognize and respect it. So, yeah. And they released it full games. Yes, exactly, as full games. So, League of Legends, Apex Legends are pretty gold standard? Yeah, I would say so. I don't really keep up with them quite as much, so it's harder for me to say. At least Apex, I don't really play League, but I play Apex, or I did. So, like, you see this a lot happening with, like, these companies trying to come up with excuses. Because, like, every single time there's, like, some new game that comes out, and there's just some massive problem with it or something like that, I think that gamers do get more frustrated, but I'm not sure if that frustration really turns into sales. But what it does seem like is that people that are frustrated are moving over and playing different types of games, right? Like, look at this. This was on Saturday. Almost 800,000 people came back the next weekend and played Baldur's Gate, which is, like, incredible that it's held that much viewership. Now, obviously, Baldur's Gate is a boomer game, for sure. And so, obviously, boomers have weekends off more often. So it would make more sense that, like, basically, the older the audience for a game, the more that weekends will probably play a factor in how many people are playing the game each day. Like, just, you know, logically think about it, right? But still, there you go. Often these companies do have an idea of what they're doing. They're not trying to make a game. They're trying to make money. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I'm talking like 30-year-old boomers. So, yeah, let's see here. What is this? Developers, true. Lamau, W. Larian Dev. Exactly, yeah, of course. People are missing a point. It's not the developers have to create the best, most complex, detailed RPGs. Rather, the game should be made without live service or microtransactions in mind, and that they should be feature complete and functional on release. I don't even, like, the thing is, I like live service games. I don't even hate live service games, and I'm not even, like, against all microtransactions. Like, I think free-to-play games with microtransactions are totally fine. I don't care. I don't like loot boxes. We had a fucking 3-hour conversation about that. We're not going to do that again. But I don't like loot boxes. But microtransactions fundamentally aren't bad. Like, you have to have that, and it's, like, a different way of like making a game, and it's a newer way of making a game. So most people want passing of the game. Well, I think also, like, there are some games that are made into live service games that don't really need to be. Like, for example, there was that Suicide Squad game that was supposed to be a live service, and I think that's the way that people felt about it, was that it's like, why is this a live service game when it's basically just bullshit, right? Yeah, an ESO. Well, ESO, I think, it's a live service game. It's interesting because it's a live service game. That was Final Fantasy 16 Gold Standard. The game is feature complete. Again, you know, crazy word. Never hear that anymore. It's a feature complete game. It released without any major bugs or problems. It was a complete game, and there was nothing that was, like, drastically or dramatically wrong with it. And it was well received by the audience. So that's why. I mean, again, like, this is not... And it didn't have, like, weird microtransactions. It didn't have, like, anything, like, unnecessary added into it. So it's just a game then? Well, yeah, but, like, we don't have those anymore. Always online games have limited lifespans, and that's by design. Yeah, so it's even extremely inconsistent, though. 10 to 10 boss fights, main story missions, 2 to 10 side quests, and filler. Yeah, I can understand that people aren't fans of, like, everything that Final Fantasy 16 has. I think that Final Fantasy 17 will probably have way more RPG elements, but probably still have action combat. So I think they're probably going to have, like, more action, probably the same action combat with more RPG elements added into it. Like, I'm kind of guessing, and like, also, like, this is a bit of hopeful guessing. Like, that's what I hope they do. Back when good games were 2 or 3 discs long? Yeah, exactly. To be fair, most of people praising a game won't get out of Act 1, let alone finish the game. Well, that's fine. I mean, like, most people don't finish games. Like, for example, you know, even with, like, a Dark Souls. Like, if you go and you open up Dark Souls and look at, like, how many people actually finished the game, I mean, it wasn't even really that many people that did it. I think it was less than 50% finished the game. Okay, sorry, I just didn't make sure I had something open, but it's fine. We are good. Every Final Fantasy is another push and a pre-established design. Wouldn't be surprised Final Fantasy 17 is completely different from 16, but still learn from it. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of expecting. Final Fantasy 16 was missing too many RPG elements. People liked it in the other games, and I couldn't help but notice it either. Yeah, I did too, and I think that, like, for me, I don't really care about that stuff a whole lot, but I wish that there was more character customization for sure. Yeah, I could go back and talk about it for a long time, but you guys see what I'm saying. Let's see here. But yeah, a lot of people don't actually finish games. See here, like big high quality games to come out to meet the standards of Baldur's Gate 3 met. Think about Diablo 4, Cyberpunk, games like that. How much time and energy they had poured into them for them to be subpar. I will say that in CD Projekt Red's defense, apparently there was like a really, and this is not like, obviously like it's still their fault, right? Because it's their game, they're asking you for money, but like, and it's their responsibility to ensure the quality of the game. But apparently they said something like, there was like their QA developer was like some weird shady company, or there was some problem with it. So there was an issue with like the testing of the game. I don't know if that's true or not. And I think that they have improved that. And also like a big studio, especially like CD Projekt Red, like they had that, like they released Witcher 3 and it was really good. People like that game a lot. So the company has a relatively good reputation. So just because they released Cyberpunk and it was bad, I don't think that they've really destroyed their reputation. It's just that their reputation will be on the line if they release another bad game. Like, or for their next release. Like, if they release another good game and everything about it is good and it's fine, then nobody will care about the Cyberpunk release and people will just be like, yeah, they fucked up. Oh, well. But if they release another fucked up game, then people will turn the studio into a meme. For sure. Of course, they've ruined their reputation. No, I don't really think so. I think enough people like The Witcher. The Witcher's popularity is so huge that it's like World of Warcraft. Like, how long did it take for Blizzard to destroy their reputation? And how long were they making bad games before that? Like, I think people started disliking Blizzard in, like, 2015 or 16, and they started making bad games in, like, 2011. 2012, right? Diablo 3, I think, was just fucking garbage on release. So, yeah, it takes a long time for those things to, like, really have an impact. So, let's see here. Okay. The bar has been raised. Yep, that's true. Crying about it won't change anything. Yeah, I think so. And, again, it's no surprise that they're going to be upset about that. The IP can survive a bad run and bad devs. What it can't survive is whenever the community terms, which is what's happening. Yeah, that's definitely that's what Overwatch had happen, right? Like Overwatch, I actually think that Overwatch, of all of the Blizzard IPs, Overwatch is like by far in the worst state. Because like World of Warcraft, you either like it or you don't, and a lot of people at least positively like Classic WoW, right? So they'll still be like nostalgic about Classic WoW. People aren't nostalgic about Overwatch in the same way because it didn't happen 15 years ago, like 18 years ago. You know, they didn't grow up in the 90s playing, you know, Overwatch, the, you know, the Doom game. So this in the same way that like Warcraft 2 was, or Warcraft 3. So it doesn't have like that tenure. It doesn't have like the amount of scope that World of Warcraft had. So WoW is effectively just like, it's grandfathered in. It's going to always have fans, and it's going to always have people playing it, no matter how many shitty expansions they make. But Overwatch is different because, and even Diablo, right? I mean, people like Diablo 4, and Diablo 4 is great for people who are casual. Like, basically, Diablo 4 is a great game until you actually try to be good at it, and you try to play it a lot, and then it's not good. But it's aimed at people that don't give a fuck about being that good, and it's like couch potato gamers. So because of that, they go through the campaign, they play a little bit of World Tier 3, maybe they do World Tier 4, and then they pretty much quit the game. So, Diablo 4 best game, haters are bad? No, I don't think that, I don't think it's a great game either. Like, it's just, it's a good game for casual players. It's Babby's first ARPG, and it does a great job of being that. It does. Like, I think it's fine. No, 4 could have been so much better. Yeah, exactly. But, like, the point that I'm making is that, like, I think Overwatch is like that game where the community actually doesn't give a fuck about it anymore. And people actually don't like Overwatch anymore. Where, like, they make a new announcement for something, nobody cares. Like, if I go, like, for example, let's see, can I look at this? Overwatch Twitter? Let's see what Overwatch has recently tweeted. So this is the first one. Xbox Game Pass. I guess we'll look at this one. And then we'll look at this one here. So this is somebody complaining. These are all just like posts that are increased because it's so much fun. So somebody like that. The story mission, it's feels like it's good. Best update in years. So people are actually pretty positive. I kind of clicked on this assuming that it would be negative. People are more positive than I would have expected. So maybe this isn't true. Here we go. I won't be playing. This game is PvE. Yeah. Got it. And so that guy's not happy. Yeah, maybe there are people that are still happy about it. It's hard to say. Look at the Reddit. Yeah, maybe the Reddit would be a better indicator. I'm not sure. Huge for Game Pass. Yeah, I think this is probably just people talking about the Game Pass thing in general. Yeah. Okay. So, nothing actually too crazy. Maybe Overwatch hasn't destroyed the reputation yet, but I feel like they have. Yeah, I do. I definitely feel like they have. Gotta scroll past. Overwatch 2 is good now? No, I did. Like, I think that there is no reason to play Overwatch 2. Like the gunplay and the hero design, like, it is a unique, fun game in a way, but, like, there's no reason for me to, like, invest myself into that game. I might go back and play it sometime, but, I mean, who the fuck knows? But it's because they canceled PvE. Like, that's really what the problem is that they basically said, we give up on making this game anything more than what it is. So there's no, if you expected or hope for this game to have a future, you're looking at the future right now, and that's all it's ever going to be. And that's a really sad thing to say.